My name is Kat, and today I want to talk about some of the books I'm planning to read this year. As I'm sure you're well aware, I own a crap ton of unread books. And there is no way I'm gonna be able to read all of them this year, but there are some that aren't at the very top of my TBR pile, but that I do want to get to relatively soon. So today I thought I would share 10 books and series that I want to try to get to within the year. My book bucket list for 2015, if you will. If I were doing the TBR jar with book titles, these are the book titles that would be in my jar. But I don't want that commitment that comes with putting specific book titles into a TBR jar. I don't want that kind of pressure. So I'm making this video announcing my intentions to read these books and series this year. And in 2016, we'll just check back in and see how I did. Okay! I will now show you the books. So first up, I have books 2 and 3 of the Mistborn Trilogy by Brandon Sanderson. I just read the first book of this trilogy and I loved it, and I wanted to continue immediately, but I am waiting because we have the Booksplosion live show discussion at the end of January, and it's fun to theorize about what we think is gonna happen later on, and I can't do that if I actually know what's gonna happen later on, so I'm holding off on reading these books until February at the earliest, and then I can get to them, and I will probably read these in like the first week of February because I really want to get to them. Next up I have the Kane Chronicles by Rick Riordan. I've actually already read this, but I want to give it a reread before continuing on. I was kind of in a reading slump when I read this, and I had to like force myself to get through it, and it wasn't that fun, so I want to give it another chance when I'm more in the mood to read it, and then I want to continue the series and finish it. Next up I have the Poison Study series by Maria V. Snyder. I still have not yet read a book by Maria V. Snyder, and these are the ones that I want to read the most. I have the first 3 books here just ready to go, and book 4 is coming out this year, so yeah, it seems like a good year to finally read the Poison Study series. Next up I have Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. Ray Bradbury is one of my writing idols. I just love his philosophy when it comes to writing craft, and I am so ashamed to say that I have not read this book. I was supposed to back in the day in high school, but I bullshitted my way through all the assignments relating to it and I never actually read it, so I want to actually read it. Next up I have Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. Just this first book of the series. Like, I don't want to attempt to read all 5 books that are currently out this year, but I do want to attempt to read this one. I did the naughty reader thing and watched the adaptation before reading the book, and I love the adaptation. The TV show is so good, and I'm probably more excited for the TV show returning this April than I am to read this book. But I do still want to read this book, especially because there's more subplots and like details that the show can't fit in because you can only do so much in 10 episodes of show. So yeah. Gonna try to read this year. And then I have here Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. I can't believe I still have not yet read a book by Colleen Hoover, so I'm going to amend that this year. And I'm gonna start with this book because this is the one that people seem to talk about the most, I think. I don't know, people talk about all of her books a lot, and I need to jump onto this Colleen Hoover bandwagon and see what it's all about. And this is probably going to be the first book from this bucket list that I read because my TBR jar challenge this month is to read a new to you author, and Colleen Hoover is a new to me author, and I need to get to this already. So I'm gonna try to read it in the next 2 weeks here, end of January. I'm gonna try to get to this finally, at last. Next up, I have Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children by Ransom Riggs. I've been meaning to read this book pretty much since it came out. You know, it's my friend Jessie's favorite book, and I heard a rumor that the third book of this trilogy is maybe coming out this year or early next year, so it seems like 2015 is a good time to at least read this first book. I gotta get on this. The next book I have here is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Another book that I've just been meaning to read for so long, but I've been intimidated by it because it's pretty big and there is so much hype surrounding this book, which has me a little bit apprehensive. But this year, I am just gonna read it already. At least I'm gonna try. I want to. I'm gonna try. Next up, I have Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Just Pride and Prejudice, not this entire collection of all of her novels. Although I do want to read this entire collection of all of her novels eventually. That's like my life book bucket list. But for this year, for Book Bucket List 2015, I just want to read Pride and Prejudice because I haven't yet, and I feel like I need to. So I'm going to try to do that. And finally, I have The Diviners by Libba Bray. I bought this book as soon as it came out. As you might be able to tell from the fact that I have this first edition original design. I'm just still so mad about the cover change, like, why? This is beautiful! Why? Why would they change that? I don't understand you, publishers. What are you doing? At first, I was putting this book off because it was so gigantic and kind of intimidating, and then I was putting it off because the sequel kept getting pushed back, and I like to marathon my books, so I wanted to read them together. But finally, 3 years after the release of this book, Book 2 is finally coming out in 2015. This is the only book by Libba Bray that I have not yet read. I loved the Gemma Doyle trilogy and Going Bovine and Beauty Queens, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna like this one too. So now that the sequel is finally coming out, I'm gonna give this one a read and then jump into the sequel immediately if I feel like it. I'm gonna at least read this first one. Alright, there you have it. That was my book bucket list for 2015, and that's everything I had for this video today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a great night, and I will have another video up soon, so I will see you then. Goodbye! Bye. These are the books that I would put in the jar. The titles. I wouldn't put the actual books in the jar. That's absurd. And in 2016, I'll check in again and see how I did. Police sirens. Fucking criminals. Planes. Why are there planes at midnight? Why am I filming at midnight is the real question. Don't worry about it. Peculiar. Peculiar. Miss Peregrine's home for some weird ass kids. Peculiar. Oh my god, I really can't say that word.
Peculiar.
Say it again.
Peculiar.
Miss Peregrine's home for
Peculiar.
children. Peculiar.